Will you pray with me? O holy God, open unto me light for my darkness, courage for my fear, hope for my despair. O loving God, open unto me wisdom for my confusion, forgiveness for my sin, love for my hate. O God of peace, open unto me peace for my turmoil, joy for my sorrow, strength for my weakness. O generous God, open my heart to receive all of your gifts. Well, it's that time for me, and in just a couple weeks I will be making a visit to Lou's brother Lon for my semi-annual dental checkup. The last time I visited with him, he found a cavity, the first for me since I was 13 years old. And needless to say, all the horrors of that previous filling flooded back into my mind. I don't suppose there is anything more undesirable in life than to have to make a trip to the dentist. And while I think that Lon is one of the best I have ever had, and I also count him a friend, nevertheless, I still fear crawling into that chair. For most of us, we equate pain with dentistry, or at least a great sense of being uncomfortable. If you had placed a shingle outside your dental office 100 years ago that said painless dentistry, it would have been considered a very cruel joke. Before the days of Novocaine, before the days of quiet music being streamed into your ears, and even before the days when dentists would give you a little pill that sends you into a kind of twilight sleep, pain and dentistry were equals. Today, the goal of most dentists is to make your visit as pain-free as possible. But for me, painless and dentistry do not belong together and will always be one and the same. Now, I don't know about you, but I have found life to be much the same way. There is no such thing as a painless life, is there? If you think someone along the way promised you such a life, you were and are sadly mistaken. Our model for perfect living, our Savior Jesus Christ, did not experience a painless life, did he? So why should we expect that we will? Isaiah penned in 55:3 of the coming Messiah, "He was despised and rejected by men, a man of sorrows and familiar with suffering." Familiar with suffering because he suffered. He lived a life of pain in many respects, emotional, spiritual, and certainly physical. Jesus Christ did not know a painless life. Should we then expect different? Christians, my friends, experience pain. It comes with the territory. It's so interesting to note that in the 56 references to pain, or pains, in the NIV version, 17 of those references, about 1/3, are related to childbirth and labor pains. When you think about it, this may be the most common worldwide pain in the history of humankind. But isn't it interesting that no male will ever experience it? Do you know what that means? Well, I'm not sure, but it's something to think about. I know it is at least a reminder to us that men and women have different experiences in life. We often come at issues with different perspectives. Men are from Mars and women are from Venus, to coin the title of a popular book many years ago now. But pain is a universal phenomenon, and even as much as no one on this earth is without sin, so there is also no one on this earth who has not experienced personal pain. There is no painless life, just like there is no real painless dentistry. The cleric and psychologist Philip Yancey was once asked, "You've written 3 books on pain. In a nutshell, what have you learned?" And he responded as if by instinct, "Pain is bad, pain is good, pain can be redeemed." When you think about it, really think about it, that trilogy of thought explains a great deal about life. So to follow Yancey's thesis here for a few minutes, first he says pain is bad. Bad because there's no feel-good about it. It's painful, and not necessarily just in a physical sense. It is horrible because it causes great discomfort. And we know that if it comes at night, it generally causes a loss of sleep. It is so disturbing that if we are plagued with it in a powerful way, it will monopolize our life entirely. Unfortunately, we all suffer pain in many forms, and most of it each and every day. Some pain lasts a short time, while other forms of pain takes over our existence. I can remember a time many years ago when I was dealing with a bout of sciatica. I was in tremendous physical pain, and that pain manifested itself in my attitude and in my mood. I'm sure I wasn't the most pleasant person to be around. But I didn't put my ministry on hold. Instead, I sought out at the time a practitioner of acupuncture who for 2 straight weeks worked diligently to relieve my pain and bring about healing. What a joy after those numerous sessions that I walked out of her office a new person. But later, as I reflected on that experience, I recognized that the pain in my life focused all of the attention on me, my body, my feelings, my health, my anxiety, my cure. I wanted everyone to know that I was in pain. I wanted to be the center of attention because of my discomfort. Guess where that put everyone else, including my family, out there on the periphery. I could not focus on anything or anyone until that pain was relieved. But Yancey indicates that pain also has its positive qualities. You know the old saying, no pain, no gain. Physical pain generally alerts us to some difficulty developing in our body. A stomach ache after I eat an entire bag of spiced jelly beans, my favorite, tells me that I would be wise to cut back on my consumption next time. A pain in the lower right area of my abdomen may well be alerting me to a ruptured appendix or hernia. A pain in my left shoulder, chest, or jaw could be symptomatic of a heart attack. Time to take some aspirin and call 911. Indeed, the good of pain is that it can help us to locate the area of trouble that needs treated. A young man whose marriage I had performed a few years earlier came to me one day, confiding in me that his marriage was troubled and that he was in pain. His wife was spending many nights outside the house, sometimes with friends, sometimes all night. Their level of communication had nearly ceased. They were no longer making plans for the future as a couple. The pain within their marital relationship was indicative of many problems and issues that had to be addressed with both individuals. I learned many years ago that a person suffering from leprosy can feel no pain because the progressive disease attacks the flesh and the nerve endings, eventually creating deformity. And at first you might think that's a godsend. But then what if you picked up a hot plate, didn't realize that you were burning your hand? What if you cut your foot and didn't know it until it became infected? Bottom line, a life without pain can be dangerous. risky. Pain does have the ability to help focus our mind, prioritize our energies, keep us from majoring on the minors of life if we look at its potential source of good. But you'll remember that Yancey also said that pain can be redeemed. Jesus said in our text, you will have pain. You can count on it in life. He didn't say if you should have pain, or if you happen to ever experience pain. No, he assumes the existence of pain, tells us that we will have it, you and I, in our lives, but that your pain will turn into joy. Did you hear that, my friends? Your pain will